with like the musician scene. Sometimes people are just like, oh, you're clearly amateur and you don't know what you're doing, and I'm like professional. And then sometimes they are like super supportive and they're just like, yeah, cool. I want to hear more local bands and support them just like me.
Oh my God, Lauren, it's kind of like that in treatment too, if you think about it.
It is.
Hello, friends.
Hello, friends.
Why did we say it exactly the same way? Welcome back to another episode of Pickles and Vodka, the mental health podcast, where Lauren probably doesn't have a tagline, and I definitely don't have a tagline.
I actually, it was too late because we started. I was going to say I have one on the fly. It kind of.
Oh shit! Well, let's. Okay. Start over.
Funny enough, it kind of makes me think of your tagline. Okay.
We'll keep all this. Just keep going. Start over.
Hello, friends.
Hello, friends.
Welcome to Pickles and Vodka, the mental health podcast where every week I know that I'm supposed to talk about my feelings, yet I never know what they are. I'm one of your co-hosts, Lauren.
I'm your other co-host, Christina. And I think by now the listeners already know that.
That's why I thought of that, because I was just sitting here thinking, like, I mean, legit, for the past, 2 hours beforehand, I keep telling myself in my head, I'm like, start thinking about your week, start thinking about what you want to talk about. But I don't. I sit down here and I'm like, shit.
I think part of it is you probably have emotional burnout.
True.
Because normally this is, the only place you talk about that stuff. But lately you've been, going through all this trauma, you've been in therapy, you've, been talking about it to a lot of people probably outside of, I almost said outside of work. This is work.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that true at all?
That sounds very true. I hadn't thought of it, but you saying it is yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
Well, because I have kind of the inverse. I was just thinking about this the other day, how I am super vulnerable on here, but then that leaves me less energy to be more vulnerable in my relationships because I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have to talk about this again because I already poured my heart out on the podcast or on my Substack or whatever. And it's not fair because not all my friends follow me online, nor I don't expect them. I don't expect anybody to listen to the podcast, honestly.
No, same way. I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised, but I don't expect it.
Right? We have a classic shooting the shit episode today, which I'm really excited about, personally. I'm feeling kind of sick today.
Oh no, that was me last week.
Yeah, it's never fun.
No.
But we'll soldier through because we love you guys.
I didn't mean that to sound menacing laughter. I do love you guys.
Man, I feel all over the place right now. Do you want me to go first for where you're at before I forget everything?
Sure. So, Christina, where are you at?
Well, I actually have some cool stuff to report on this week.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. I say this every time. I literally say this every time. It just feels weird when I'm, not in distress.
Oh, yeah.
And when things are going fairly well.
I get that.
I was writing in my journal tonight, it's been 3 months of me being here in Richmond as of, a few days ago. And I feel like I'm just now starting to feel like having a life might be possible.
Which makes sense, because you first get to a new place, and, I mean, especially, we're not people that put ourselves out there.
We're not people.
We're not people.
But, I don't even mean, having a life here in particular. I mean, just, having a life in general. I feel like I don't have a life when my mental health is really suffering, when I'm going through a lot of changes.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to venture out. So on Sunday, I went to this queer motorcycle group.
That already sounds amazing.
The reason I found out about it even was so random. My sister is in trade school, and on Halloween, she had a few coworkers over. Mm-hmm. And before she even found out I rode motorcycles, one of them was like, I just came back from this queer motorcycle group. And I was like, oh my God, how do I sign up?
Yes, could it be more perfect?
And it really was awesome. It was just 10 or 12 people, I don't even know. And they were all so friendly, and they have practice Well, they all lend each other their bikes to practice. Like, they set up an obstacle course and people were, like, practicing. And I was like, I don't have a bike. Is that okay? They're like, yeah, you can just ride one of these. But I wasn't dressed for riding at the time. And so I'm going to go back this Sunday and do it. And that's something to look forward to. And it's nice to have things to look forward to.
I will say, I feel like that kind of doesn't surprise me because I feel like the motorcycle crew is, strangely enough, like the aerial crew. Like, they're really accepting. They're really supportive. They're not competitive.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like a wholesome group of people, all like connected by having fun over this particular thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I would argue that riding motorcycles, much like aerial, is a sport in a way.
Oh, yeah. Because that was actually what I was comparing it to in my head when I was saying that. I was thinking, like, you know, like, say you join an intramural softball team or something like that. Like, that can definitely, you know, I've heard of those getting catty.
Oh, I was going to say, I've always wished I was more into sports so I could do that sort of thing. It seems like a great way of making friends.
Maybe like an intramural one, but I don't know. It seems like a lot of just like typical sports you can get into, you know, like, we really only pay attention to the people that are good, or, you know, we're all competitive. And it's like, not that they have to be that way, but I feel like there's more of potential.
Yeah, that's true. It's just like about the environment, I guess.
Because I would say the same thing with like the musician scene is it can go either way. And I've experienced both. You know, sometimes people are just like, oh, you're clearly amateur and you don't know what you're doing. And I'm like professional. And then sometimes they are like super supportive and they're just like, yeah, cool. I want to hear more local bands and support them just like me.
Oh my God, Lauren, it's kind of like that in treatment too, if you think about it.
It is.
Like some people are like super competitive. Like they have to be the worst one there. And they're like, yeah, you can't touch this. And then other people are obviously very supportive and they just want everyone to be okay.
Yep.
And have fun, except not really.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny. The other cool thing that happened this week is I submitted an essay to a contest for the first time in like years. Because I used to like submit things to publications more often.
I did that like a billion years ago too.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really gotten anything published so far except for like online publications, but the theme is food insecurity, especially in light of the recent EBT fiasco with the government shutdown. A lot of people didn't get their SNAP funds.
Yeah, when I saw that was the topic, I was like, timely.
Well, yeah, and also I have an eating disorder and that has its own challenges that are actually like related to SNAP.
Well, and don't you receive some of that? Or did you?
Yeah, I've been on food stamps for over a year now.
Okay, because that's what I'm thinking is not just, you know, like, yes, because of your eating disorder issues, you have food insecurity anyways, but you also have this one. Like, those two things playing together are nuts.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I wrote about. Good. I was like describing this food scarcity mindset that I had as a kid and how that translated to bulimia and addiction. And then just when I'm starting to like see food as more neutral and like dependable, I guess, then I have like actual food scarcity.
Then someone is telling you again. And I mean, I haven't been like on food stamps or anything, so I don't have that piece, but I'm just imagining, knowing the eating disorder piece, that if you're trying to get over that and then someone's telling you like, actually, you know, just food just can't be available to you, then, you know, your brain starts saying stupid things like, oh, I guess I don't need it anyways.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's that. Or with bulimia, it's like you suddenly have all these free funds for food. And because you have this scarcity mindset, you're like, I don't know how long this is going to last. Like, I don't know if I'm going to get this again. And like, I've bought binge food with my EBT card before, and it's really shameful to admit that, because like this is a privilege not everyone gets. And like I didn't get my funds for the first part of this month, but like eventually yesterday I got the full amount, which I guess they've been staggering it.
Okay.
I don't know. It's a mess.
But yeah, it makes perfect sense, like you said, that I don't know when I'm going to get this again.
But yeah, they wanted like unique perspectives. I was like, well, shit.
Yeah.
So I wrote it and I sent it, and I asked Christopher Robin actually to be a proofreader because he's a writer.
Yeah.
And he said, I didn't realize how much of your life has been defined by scarcity.
Huh.
And I don't know. I never really thought about it like that before, but like, especially in the context of eating disorders, like, how do you feel about that? Can you relate?
I mean, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, my gut feeling is like, yeah, but I might have to think about it more.
Oh, I feel like with you had like a scarcity mindset with emotions,
I was
maybe.
just going to say that. I was going to be like, I feel like I had like scarcity of emotion. Yeah.
Oh my God. Put a pin in that.
Yeah.
Lauren's like, great. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. I'm feeling sick, and I've been really wanting to buy Benadryl because it would really dry me out right now. That's what I need, but I can't.
And that sucks too, where it's like, it would legit make me feel better in the way that it's supposed to, but also it's bad for me.
Yeah, so like I've been taking other cold medicine instead, and put a pin in that because that's kind of like, well, I mean, it's just an observation I had that could transform into a topic.
Okay.
But I want to hear where you're at first, because I've been talking forever.
Okay. I don't know how much I will have to say, but I do know I have one thing, which is that today I had my last dietitian appointment. Because, you know, as we've been talking about, I've been considering it for a long time, but I just didn't feel like I could when I had like no therapist, nothing in place. And now I have seen my new old therapist 3 times, and I'm going to see her again tomorrow. And it's been feeling just like really good. Like, I really feel like I made the right decision going back to her.
Yes. That's amazing.
Yeah. And, you know, and so it felt really good. And this was also coming at a time where like my dietitian's going to be going through some changes, and we had been worried beforehand that my health insurance wouldn't cover anything starting in 2026, or I'd have to pay like insane amounts versus what I am now. So it wasn't
feasible.
Yeah. So just, it kind of hit at the right time, and, and we'd floated the idea. And I think even last time, because I was starting to see I think I just had an appointment scheduled with the therapist. And so she was like, so do we want to schedule one more? And I was like, well, I haven't seen her yet, so yes. But, now that I have and it's working out, then, after we talked a little bit, it was just kind of like, so where do you want to go from here? And we just decided, she'll give me like her personal contact information because she doesn't know where she'll be. And if I need to contact her again in the future, I have that. And if not, this was it.
Wow. What was that like walking away from there?
It was kind of weird. I mean...
Because how long have you been seeing her at that point?
I was trying to think about that because I last went to treatment May of 2023. And she had been fighting for me to do that for a full year beforehand. So, I mean, it had to be maybe, more than a year before then. Maybe like late 2021. So 4 years. So this
is a meaningful relationship.
Yeah.
Wow.
And with all of my therapy experiences of therapists ghosting me and canceling 50% of the time or more, it's kind of like, it's one of the most stable ones I had.
Well, that makes it even harder to quit, but I think it signifies growth that you ended it when you did, and when you waited until you did have that safety net. I think that was very wise on your part, and I think, yeah, you did it in a really responsible way.
Yeah.
And it's good that you have her information.
I guess this could also go into where I'm at then, because the only thing that, I didn't say anything, but kind of like hesitated in my mind is I was just sort of like, so when the eating disorder is probably doing the worst it has all this year, I'm going to quit my dietitian.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't, that's the other thing that I didn't want to say, because you don't like talking about your feelings. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you vaguely hinted that you're not doing so great in that area. Is part of you, like, relieved that you don't have accountability now?
No, because overall, I don't think it's a bad decision, because how things are going badly is kind of different this time, and I do feel like it's more related to things that I need to work out in therapy. So the fact that I'm back in therapy makes me feel, and, she also, like, my current therapist, I met her because she was direct care one of my stays in treatment. She's familiar with all that. She's familiar with that world. She saw me at worse points when I was seeing her before. And so, we hadn't talked about it yet, but the last session, she did bring that up. She's like, so how is all that stuff kind of going? And I was like, not great. She's like, yeah, I was wondering. So we'll probably talk about that more too.
Yeah. I mean, fuck, what was I going to say? I don't know. Fuck, it was so good too.
I'm very excited, question mark, for the assignment she gave me to read it to her tomorrow, because we had started talking a lot, like grief and PTSD and all of the dog situation. And I think I kind of used that as a jumping off point last time just to talk about like frustrations in my relationship in general.
Yeah.
And feeling, like I've said recently, I'm just kind of like, I just don't have space for me in this relationship. And I don't know, everyone knows I'm not good at being open, but it's kind of like, I want to, but I don't know how. And that's frustrating because that's partly on me too.
Well, but also you should feel safe enough with him to like practice that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but
I mean, to a point, I guess.
Yeah, that I feel like is two-sided. It's like, I don't disagree, but also look at my track record. I mean, I don't do that with almost anybody, so it's...
But don't put all the blame on yourself, is what I'm saying.
No. I definitely, I feel like it's a little of this, a little of that. So, her assignment to me was basically just like, so I want you to just write everything that you wish he knew. Write everything that you wish you could tell him.
Okay, that, I low-key want to read that. I feel like that's going to be cathartic as hell for you.
Yeah.
If you actually, like, do it, like, be brutal. Like, don't hold anything back.
I have 3 pages written, and I am very excited to share this with her.
Oh my god, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Hard.
Yeah.
But... Hi, Taco.
I say, here comes the toenails.
I remember what I was going to say. I often forget that eating disorders can be symptoms of other things.
Mm-hmm.
Like the treatment industry, they focus so much on the symptoms, the physical symptoms. And like, yeah, they have kind of like a hodgepodge of different therapies in treatment, but like, it feels kind of like an afterthought almost.
And that does feel more like when you get in like intensive treatment, then yeah, it is mostly focusing on like the symptoms that are in your face. So I feel like it is almost better in that way as long as you can, healthily do it enough to, like, the outpatient world is more like, yeah, let's figure out why you feel like you need to do this all the time.
Yeah. And I mean, the stuff you talked about, like the trauma and everything, and like the stuff you really want to get into in therapy, you said that like, yeah, you expect your eating disorder to get better as you process those things. And like, that's so true. I feel like the times my eating disorder has been the best is like when I don't think about it as much, when I'm tackling my other things, like when I'm giving myself exposure therapy and getting out into the world and like having a life.
Yeah.
Way easier said than done. I'm obviously not good at it.
Because I understand that, in certain situations, if you are too far gone or whatever, then yes, like the intensive treatment world is needed. But I've always agreed that it's just kind of, and that's why, I mean, we've talked about this. I'm against like people that seem to just kind of like get too comfortable in that world and keep going back because it's familiar. Cause like that keeps you stuck. It's
like people who keep going to college to get, because they're afraid to be in the real world. Not that that's necessarily true. Like, not to generalize, but it's a stereotype.
But you've seen it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been tempted. If I had unlimited funds, I would just be in school full time.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds amazing.
I mean, gotta pull this dude up so that he isn't annoying, hopefully. Come sit in mommy's lap.
So, I was just vaping. But like, yeah, being in treatment, it's the same way. Like, there's people who cycle in and out of treatment, like lifers, because it feels safe in a way.
Yeah.
I miss it sometimes.
I mean, I've always been like super embarrassed by these thoughts, but I've had my fair share. I've gone a couple times. And there's times where I would not admit it at the time and I would not admit it to other people, but I knew I was like, I kind of just want to go back.
Yeah.
And then there's, of course, other times where I am, like I
where
said,
it takes a year.
My dietitian, fought for a year because I was like, no, I've done this enough. Shut up.
We know. We were along for that whole year. I remember you talking about it on the podcast a lot.
Uh-huh.
Do you ever think about that? Like how many significant life changes we've recorded on the podcast?
Oh, yeah. I was thinking recently about, one of our early episodes, which I believe is titled Lauren Spends the Weekend in the Psych Ward.
Classic.
I was just thinking of like, oh my God, remember when I had a wellness check?
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, man, that was shitty for someone to like call the cops to go to your house.
Yeah. And not say anything. Like, I mean, saw something that I said, but didn't even try to say anything to me first. Like, how legit are you feeling? Anything.
I mean, I get it. It's hard to deal with that situation. Like, I've had situations with friends where I was worried about them and I didn't know what to do. And also I felt awkward talking to them about it because they would just brush it off and be like, it's fine, or like, whatever. But also, yeah, I like to think I would not do that without at least telling them. Like,
yeah, I feel like I would at least try, something like, do you actually feel safe right now? Anything.
Yeah, like on the hotline, if someone becomes unresponsive, we're supposed to like yell, the cops are coming with Narcan.
Okay.
And like, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
No, but I mean, that's good. That's about all you can do, but it's giving someone a chance.
But yeah, sometimes just telling people is enough to like be like, oh shit, this is serious. Are you done with where you're at?
Yeah.
We're on a tangent.
Yeah. Which is fine. That's what these kind of episodes are for.
I love it.
I know.
Honestly, but the downside is I often lose my train of thought and forget what we were talking about.
Yeah. We put some pins in things I forgot already.
We did. I remember one. Okay. So this could unlock a topic, or at least some stories. So, like I said, I've been taking like other cold medicine and I'm like finding myself being secretive about it when there's no reason to be secretive about it, because I guess I'm worried someone will like see and think I'm like abusing it, because in the past, of course, I've done that. And like I was thinking about similar circumstances, like earlier in the week I was eating dark chocolate in bed, don't ask, but I was like waiting for my sister to go to bed and like making as little noise as possible, because I know if she found me, she would think I was like binging and purging.
Yes.
And like when I go visit my parents, when I'm in the bathroom too long, I'm worried that they think, yeah, I could just be on my phone, but they think I'm like relapsing. And that's a thing.
I mean, I've felt that before, I know. And I mean, I've never made myself purge by throwing up. But, if somebody doesn't, like, just has a surface, just knows, like, oh, you deal with eating disorders, aren't they all the same? And be like, oh, she's in the bathroom. It's probably what she's doing. So, yeah, I felt the same way.
I guess I wanted to just talk about that suspicion and, like, how you deal with it when you're actually not doing the behaviors, but they think you are. And I don't know about you, but sometimes that has actually led me to doing the behaviors, like, out of spite almost. Like, oh, you think I'm doing it? Well, I'm actually going to do it.
I can see that. I don't know where, this is going to lead, but it was, when you started talking about this, it was interesting because for whatever reason, I was thinking of something that totally relates to it. So we've talked in the past about when I like started having panic attacks and, they literally like would last for a week or more.
When you were in college, right?
Yeah. And when that happened, I finally went to a doctor and they just gave me a bunch of Xanax and was like, take these a couple times a day. And then I had to come off Xanax, and that was horrible. But the thing is what I have learned from that whole experience and from still, sometimes getting panic attacks, that nothing else will bring me down, is I'm just kind of like, that is the one thing. If it's that bad, it will work. And I was just like, I was randomly thinking of the times where I have had to argue so hard with like doctors and stuff and tell them my whole story and be like, literally, I do not want more than like 10 Xanax in my possession. I don't want to abuse it. I don't want a bunch of them. I want it for if I wake up in the middle of the night, I don't know if I'm going to come down from this in 2 hours or 24 hours, and I just want to get back to sleep. I want it for that emergency and nothing more. And I just feel like I always get treated like a drug seeker.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm just like, I'm asking you to give me 10. No more, please. I don't need any more in my possession.
That's such a good example.
Do I sound like a drug seeker here?
Well, yeah. I mean, how are they supposed to know? That's the thing. Like, family members obviously know more about you than like a random doctor, but
yeah. Still, yeah, I was just thinking like how frustrating it is, how many times I feel like I've had to, I don't know, profess myself to be like, I swear to God, I am not trying to.
That's kind of how I feel about my weed use. I mean, it's a little different because I can tend to rely on it pretty heavily, but like I've tried explaining to practitioners, like, this is actually harm reduction and it helps me a lot. Mm-hmm. Like, trust me, I might be on weed, but you do not want to see me when I'm on other things.
Yeah, like without, I would be turning to other things and be harming myself way more.
I actually want to get my medical marijuana card because I feel like that would just make all those doctors like shut up.
True. From what I've heard, it's not very difficult.
Yeah, you just need money.
Yeah, that's true.
Like with everything. Mm-hmm. What else was I gonna say? Da, 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 da. Usually if I just sing elevator music, it'll come to me. But like keeping secrets is exhausting, and like we have enough of those, like, or at least I have enough of those already. I can't have like fake. Like,
yeah, it's annoying when people think you're keeping secrets and you're just like, I'm just living my life.
Yeah, you're like, for once. It's just so ironic.
Mm-hmm. When you feel like you have to prove that, you know, like, I'm not doing anything bad for myself. I could, I have, but this time I swear I'm not.
Well, yeah, and then when I feel like I'm actually falling apart, no one notices.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's also like the overcompensating. Like I'll make a big deal out of like saying like, oh, I only had 2 pieces of chocolate. It was really good. I like kept it down and like, I don't know. I'll find myself saying stuff like that when I don't have to. Like, no one asked.
Look, I did it like a normal person.
Yeah. Or like telling people how long I've been sober from a drug, or like working it into the conversation when it's just unnecessary, like oversharing.
Yeah, like, look, I've accomplished something. Hey.
Yeah.
But I think some of that does come from, you know, like feeling like you've had to defend yourself unnecessarily. So then you also feel like you have to like talk yourself up unnecessarily. Yeah.
I mean, when you said that, for some reason I was thinking of like all the ways we defend our disorders. Mm-hmm. And justify it to ourselves and to other people.
Yeah, that's a tough one because I still never know if I'm doing that or not.
Oh man, what was the other pin we put in? Emotional scarcity.
Yes.
We're gonna dive into your childhood whether you like it or not.
Yay.
But like, yeah, with food scarcity, even if you have enough, you feel like you're gonna run out. Do you feel like even when you do have enough like affection and like care in your life, you still feel like it's gonna go away? I feel like you've talked about that before.
Probably. I know one thing that I've become aware of, you know, like being in a mostly secure relationship, as I make a funny face about that.
Well, now the listeners know.
I'm generally not a touchy person. I've had a lot of time to think about this because I do feel for real. And maybe because that is where I learned it and where I grew up. Like, I don't like lots of physical affection from, like, my parents and my family. Like, that honestly just kind of, like, makes me feel a little icky. But I act the same way, I think, in romantic relationships or in friend relationships, where it's just kind of like my default is, like, to, kind of shy away. But I've realized, like, thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, but I like that feeling, and I didn't even realize for a long time, I'm like, you know what? I kind of like the idea of, you know, like friends that are just like, yeah, you know, like we all just like hug each other because, you know, we're just comfortable with each other like that.
Oh my God, this is so relatable.
Yeah, and that's what I think is like, I still, you know, just by instinct, like my natural thing is to just kind of like squirm and, you know, not accept it. And I've realized I'm like, I think it's because I'm afraid of wanting it too much.
Yeah, especially if you've been deprived of it. I feel like you are afraid of losing control once you get it.
Oh, yeah. I was just thinking of, you know, you're afraid, like, you get this little bit and you're just going to, like, crave more and more, and then they're going to, like, immediately withhold it because I'm not used to having it. But your thing makes sense. Both of those things make sense.
Well, yeah, like with my sexual repression, for instance, and I was thinking of you, like when you were talking about possibly being asexual in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I think that is a response, like being so standoffish because, yeah, I'm always afraid that I'll lose control and like embarrass myself or hurt myself or someone else. I don't fucking know. But like, I had sex withheld from me as a kid. You had emotion withheld from you as a kid.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah.
So both of those things, it's almost like I don't know how I'd respond if I was given free reign with these things.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Like, I literally I don't even know what that would look like.
Uh-huh.
I've actually been talking with other friends about this very thing, particularly being like physically affectionate in platonic relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I've also never really done that. I like to hug people, but that's about it. I feel uncomfortable. Like some people cuddle with their friends or like hold hands.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me pretty uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, that would make me uncomfortable too. I agree.
I had a friend who like once asked to hold my hand and I got so weirded out about it and I regret my response, but like they like asked permission and everything. It was so nice. But I was talking to one of my friends about this and how like it would be nice to like cuddle on the couch and watch TV. And they were like, yeah, we should totally do that. And I was like, I know I'm weird about this stuff. Like, I don't know. And they were like, yeah, I don't want you to feel unsafe. And I was like, don't worry, you're a safe person. And then they were like, it's one thing to feel like safe around someone. It's another thing to like be touched by someone.
Like that kind of level. Yeah.
Yeah. And like with your case, I would say like emotional intimacy is like the equivalent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, you tell me.
No. Yeah, that makes sense.
What, am I, a therapist?
What? But to tie it back to something we talked about earlier, it's interesting because I feel like that maybe in the beginning might have tied into the idea of like, oh, I kind of sometimes wish I could return to the treatment world because the first time I went, I made a friend like that and it was like, obviously it took a little, like getting comfortable with it, period. But we just, she's the one that like, she lives here and we're still really close and I was in her wedding and all that stuff. But like, we just got super close, super fast. And I did feel like a greater level of comfort with her friendship than anyone else. And I remember, we shared a room and, we'd often just be like, laying in the same bed, just kind of like next to each other, both with our phones, like watching videos together and stuff like that. And I remember noticing it at that time, like, this is weird and I've not had this before in my life, but I really like it and it's nice.
Yeah, I want that.
Mm-hmm.
That's so beautiful. And I mean, we've talked so much about those quick treatment connections because like you're skipping a lot of the small talk, getting to know you shit, because you immediately get really deep really fast.
Yeah.
And that's so cool that she's stayed in your life, because I feel like with me, a lot of those relationships burn out, like, once I get out of treatment.
Yeah, like, maybe we
sometimes
don't...
for the better.
True, yep. So we don't necessarily have moments like that anymore, but she, for sure, stays someone, like, we don't see each other very often, but every time we do, we can immediately, like, sit down and be like, let's get into the deepest shit going on in our life right now. So, yeah.
I love that. Those are the best kind of friendships.
Yeah.
And, like, you get different things from different people in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really hate the idea of, like, making your significant other, for instance, like, the person who's supposed to provide everything.
Yeah.
And even platonic friendships. Like, I think sometimes we do think, like, we have to be everything to our friends.
Oh,
at least I do.
Because, I mean, on the flip side, I've definitely seen people, like, in friend relationships that clearly have, like, the savior feeling.
Oh, yeah.
So if they're doing
Not
that,
me.
then yes, there's going to be people that are on the other end that seems like, oh, you have to be my everything.
Yeah. It's exhausting. Like, I feel like some people... Like, I have friends that I only send memes back and forth, and that's our relationship.
Yeah.
And, like, that doesn't offend me.
No.
I really like that. And, yeah, I mean, relationships do change, too. Like, someone might be really close for a time, and then later on, maybe you do only text memes. And, like, sometimes it's sad, but sometimes it's just fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. Before we wrap up, I wanted to tell you that I might have messaged a potential guest.
Ooh, okay.
I did message a potential guest.
Okay.
So I don't want to say who it is. I like how like last week we were like, yeah, we'll only have people on who we know, and like we're very picky. And now I'm like, oh, I invited someone I don't really know. But this is an artist who has helped me a lot with their work through some really dark times in my life. That's all I'm going to say. But like, I messaged them back in 2021 and asked them to be on the podcast, and they were like, yeah, that sounds great. And for some reason, our communication just like fell off.
Uh-huh.
And so recently I came across their work again, and I was like, oh my God, I should reach out again just to see, like, because if, you know, maybe they're busy, maybe they don't care, but that's fine. I just wanted to like,
people change.
Yeah. But like, maybe they just forgot about it, because like I forgot about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, be proud of me.
Okay. Funny thing, if you remember when we were talking about guests, I mentioned that I had randomly messaged a person I didn't really know on Facebook that said they wanted to be a guest on podcasts.
Yeah.
So this is not related to that, just since you were talking about it, and I don't go on.
I thought you were going to say they messaged you back.
Just because you were talking about it and I never go on, I was like, oh, I should go and see if they actually responded, and they didn't, but I saw that your sister added me, so I just added her on Facebook.
Wait, am I friends with you on Facebook even?
No. That'd be funny if your sister is before you.
I really don't think Wait, no, I am. I have to be.
Because I was going to say, I know I've been on the Pickles and Vodka page.
Okay, good, I am.
Okay. That's so funny.
Oh my goodness. Also, one last thing. I got scammed on Facebook this week.
Ooh, what happened?
So this girl on Facebook in the neighborhood group was like, I'm a tattoo apprentice and I'm offering free cover-ups. I just need like a setup fee.
Oh no.
And yeah, I messaged her and we were like, had full-on conversations, and I was like, how much is your... I described what I wanted, and she's like, yeah, that's cool. And then I said, what's your setup fee? And she told me one number, and I said, I can't do that. Can I do this much? And she was like, cool, that works. And so I try sending it to her on Zelle, and it doesn't work. My bank flags it as potentially suspicious.
Oh boy.
And so then I'm like, hey, it's not working. And she's like, try this Zelle account. This is my cashier. And so that one does go through.
Ooh.
But she says she never got it. And I was like, well, it went out of my bank.
Yeah.
And she's like, try sending it here instead. And I was like, no, I'm going to call my bank and figure this out before I do that.
Yeah.
And then while I was chatting with the bank, I asked her, like, where exactly is your shop located? Because I asked earlier, where is your shop? And she just said Richmond. I was like, well, duh. But I was like, okay, what part? And she never responded. And so, yeah, I'm currently trying to get the money back, and I feel really stupid.
Yeah, but if you have a whole conversation, like you said, I can see. And it's a weird one. It's not something that I would think, like, that's obviously a scam. People are all scamming for tattoo cover-ups.
Right?
No, I don't think that's on you.
I even asked her, like, what is the name on the second account?
Okay.
And she gave me the correct name. So I was like, okay. Anyway, be safe out there, people.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the show.
On that note.
I mean, I don't know. How else are we supposed to end it?
Right. Don't get scammed. Bye.
Oh, I also put out a new episode of my other podcast today, Field Notes from Crisis Corner.
Oh, I didn't listen, but I did see that came through on my, because I get the notifications.
Yeah, I would kick myself if I didn't, like, promo it at least once. And now that's the episode.
Okay.
Unless you have anything you want to promo.
Not at the moment.
Did you get your pictures back from the aerial show?
Not yet. That's the first thing I thought of. I was like, I don't have video or pictures or anything yet.
All right, we'll check back in next week. Take care, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
If you like what you heard, tell a friend about the podcast. You can send them to picklesandvodka.substack.com, where they can listen to our entire catalog and find our newest merch. We love hearing from our listeners, so leave us a voice message at speakpipe.com/picklesandvodka. My personal Instagram is at xtinajumper, and Lauren's is at Lauren3_AFH. We'll see you next week.